What is it like to live in Kenya? I am presently living in Nairobi. Life in Kenya has many facets for an expatriate. Let me try to cover a few of them. Getting and coming into Kenya on a tourist visa is not too difficult for most nationalities. Getting a work, residency permit that allows you to stay and work takes time and is not usually a problem if you are engaged with an organization that can manage one. Accommodation in Nairobi, for a long-term stay, you have various options. Self-service apartments, independent houses, maisonettes, apartments, furnished and unfurnished. Your choice will depend on your budget. Food in Nairobi. You will have access to a wide range of food. In restaurants if you are going to eat out, or in supermarkets if you are going to cook yourself. Outside Nairobi, choices drop, though some of the bigger towns are okay. Schooling. There are decent schools in Nairobi offering Kenyan, British, American and French systems of education. Entertainment. Lots of options there. Nightclubs, cinema halls, theater, music events, television and books. Few bookshops, but they are pretty good. Internet and cell phones. If you are coming from Europe or America, you may find broadband speeds a trifle slow, but they are not terrible in the bigger cities. Decent coverage of cell phones all over and lots of choices as well. Newspapers and magazines a bit ordinary, I would say. Sports. Running, naturally, gymnasium and football facilities are reasonable. Watching sports is mainly restricted to football, soccer. Moving around. Cars are expensive, even second-hand ones, though you will get a wide range and they generally hold their value at the time of resale a couple of years later. Traffic is terrible, but reasonably disciplined, especially if you are used to South Asian traffic. Buses and public transport is not too bad in Nairobi, but leaving Nairobi in public transport may be a bit dicey. Violence. On the surface it appears calm and quiet, but there are violent undercurrents around. You just have to sense them. Carjacking, kidnapping, robbery with violence is common. Driving on lonely roads at night is not a great idea. Walking in the evenings is also not advisable. Post-election violence in 2007-8 affected the social fabric very seriously. People normally cheerful and courteous unless you get caught in a road accident, however minor. Then tempers will rise. Tourism. Simply brilliant. Lots of spots within a few hours of Nairobi. Can be done over the weekend. Living expenses depends entirely on your lifestyle. Just slightly less expensive than London for most things. Climate. A wide range. Nairobi is pleasant throughout the year. The coast is hot and humid and the north and northeast is very very hot. Rains twice a year, and even minor rains throws all traffic into complete chaos. Business environment. Private sector is booming, but frankly it could be better. I have been here for over a year and going to be here for at least one more. Life can be good. There is no need to get scared of the violence, but at the same time it is advisable to be sensible. Good place to live if you have money and you do not necessarily depend on the country's economy to make your core income. If you depend on the country's economy to make income, especially as a business owner, then most part of your life will be spent stressing about high cost of production, corrupt systems, unreasonable taxes, bribery all the way, etc. etc. It's also a frustrating place if you want to make an honest living just doing your clean thing, because whether you like it or not, you will mostly find it tough, and very discouraging. The people who enjoy staying in Kenya most, I believe, are expatriates on high salaries, or employees of highly rated blue-chip companies, because at the end of the money you will always have your fat check which will enable you to pay your bills and pay a visit to one or two nice places for a good time. Also the system favors you when you have money. You will be treated well on the roads by traffic police, since you will always have some loose change for them. Waiters will always give you a good smile. The watchman will always carry your luggage with a big smile, etc. But woe unto you if you find yourself on the wrong side of the economy, as life will be so tough that you will wonder why exactly you were born in the first place. Kenya is the kind of place where you find people as smart as Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg and all those good names, but will never amount to anything no matter what they try. So the cream of Kenya is largely dumped to work in the few companies we have around, like banks, tellers, and brewers, etc. This is also the kind of place where those who work the least get the most, where those who know the most are subdued by those who know the least, where the stupid lead the smart. So yeah, this is what you go through daily when you live in Kenya. I have lived in Kenya full-time from January 2006 to August 2009. Part-time since then as I go back every 4 months to run the media company I founded there. Also, my husband is Kenyan. Obviously this means I'm biased, but I think Kenya, Nairobi is the best place to live in Africa. I've traveled to 15 African countries. The best. Amazing tourism. I have a soft spot for Diani, Galu Beach. Check out Cassini Beach cottages. Pleasant weather all year round. Similar to California. Great Japanese, Thai, Italian, Lebanese restaurants. A welcoming community of smart, creative, tech-oriented people, both Kenyans and expats, a bustling startup scene, and the general feeling that a lot can be tried out, discovered, experimented. The worst? For me, the traffic and the pollution, without contest. You'll need a car to move around and driving to work is a major pain. Major road construction is going on right now and hopefully that will improve the situation, but prepare to go crazy in traffic. And if you've never lived in a developing country, issues with electricity or government services in general are common. A point on the violence. Nairobi's reputation as a violent city is largely sustained and propagated by the NGO community who likes to live together in wealthy, isolated suburbs and drive outrageously expensive SUVs. If you live and behave like a normal person, you will be fine. In the past 3 months there have been a shooting and a series of arson fires in my LA neighborhood, West Hollywood. Nothing like that ever happened close to me in Nairobi. For an Indian, born and brought up in Kenya, the answer to this after having passed through the various colored lenses of years spent outside Kenya invigorating. I may not be able to do full justice to the question as my answer is biased because of my love for my fatherland. This is the country where my father, an Indian, set up his base, gave us an education and all that we have today. So how was it to live in Kenya? Smiley face. I lived in Nakuru, in the heart of the Rift Valley. How would you like to get up in the morning and look out the window and see Lake Nakuru dotted with magical pink specks, flamingos, or breathe in fresh cool air as you settle into your morning routine? How would you feel about digging into juicy delicious nyama choma on Fridays? Still remember the Eno ad I used to watch as a kid? How would you like to try some gatheri, sukuma and ugali on Sunday cooked most lovingly by your nanny, to have warm smiling faces all around, indulging you in every little antic almost on the verge of making you a brat? It feels like it was great. Every trip Thompson Falls, Bogoria, Kisumu, Mombasa, Masai Mara, Kisii, Nyeri, Mount Kenya, Molo, would make you fall in love with nature over and over. Yet sadly certain things also come automatically when you live in Kenya, not wearing any jewelry that is conspicuous, locking and double-checking all the locks at home, no late evening walks on the streets, the inevitable toa kitu kidogo for any small thing you want to get done, right or wrong. Any medical emergency and we would try and fly out the person to India. Facilities were woefully inadequate and expensive.